William Perry is adding a few pounds with every game. The Fridge is in demand on the talk show circuit, explaining high-cal football. He even has a speech coach to help him, although teammate Walter Payton prefers Perry's own delivery.
Well, they gave me the ball a couple more times. I got 6 on them last week, but they didn't give me the ball.
Last Sunday, Perry helped the Bears beat the Packers with a routine 308-pound touchdown catch. Suddenly, the Fridge was on the lips of football fans everywhere, even in the den of the Detroit Lions.
I swear, I stopped and had an omelet at a place on the way in this morning, and I heard the guys in the next booth talking about what the refrigerator did over the weekend.
Yes, the Lions have heard the rumbles, but they've been beating up on big guys this year. An inspired defense stuffed America's former team in Week 2. And a 63-yard punt return by Pete Manley keyed an upset of the Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers. A week after that, this touchdown pass to James Jones helped beat the Super Bowl runners-up, the Miami Dolphins. 3 impressive knockouts, but today we'll find out if the Lions are ready for the refrigerator and what his coach has in store.
The kid is one heck of an athlete. You know, he can throw the football.
CBS.
The Lions, and it is a cold, windy, rain turning to snow day. 39 degrees, and the wind will be a factor at 17 miles an hour from the northeast. The goalposts at one end have already been blown down. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field. I know some of you are expecting to see the Rams and Giants from your local TV listings, but the place to be this afternoon in the National Football League is here at Soldier Field, where the unbeaten Bears go for number 10. Of course, everybody wants to see William the Refrigerator Perry, and today the Lions, still in the wild card hunt at 5-4. They've been the Giant killers all season long. Will try to stop the Bears streak. And the Bears, Johnny, will be going at quarterback without their number 1 man, Jim McMahon.
That's right. Jim McMahon sustained a shoulder injury against Green Bay last week, will not start, so Steve Fuller is going to get the starting call. He's played a couple of times this year, but so far has not done all that well, and Mike Ditka would like to see how Steve Fuller does in case McMahon gets hurt. He's been injury-prone throughout the season. As for the Detroit Lions, as you said, they're still in the wild card hunt. But any team that's beaten Dallas, San Francisco, and Miami in one season has got to be a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde team. Darryl Rogers has done some magic with them, and we'll see how the Lions do. They're 5-4. They need a victory to stay in that wild card hunt. I think we're going to have a good football game. It is cold.
All right, Johnny, and the Lions' Darryl Rogers made an interesting decision here, and perhaps a sensible one. The Lions won the toss, elected to take the wind, and they will kick off. The Bears will receive. And the wind, as we commented, has already blown down the goalposts at the south end of the field. They have been replaced, obviously. Each stadium required to keep extra goalposts. It took about 30 minutes. It was quite a sight. As the tarp was being rolled off, it just literally blew out of the hands of about 10 maintenance men, billowed up, landed on the uprights, and snapped them just like matchsticks. So they've got a new goalpost in the south end, and the Lions will kick it off. It is Eddie Murray, and they had to hold the ball for him because the wind has been blowing it off the tee, as you could see. The deep men for the Bears are Dennis Gentry and Thomas Sanders, the rookie running back, number 20. And the wind is blowing in the television booth and all around Soldier Field from Lake Michigan. The rain that has been kind of sprinkling all morning here in Chicago has been turning to snow just in the last few minutes. So we expect the temperatures to drop into the 30s if they're not already there.
And as you can see, it is much stronger than 17 miles per hour. I would say it's up to 25 miles an hour, so that's going to have a definite effect on this football game, especially determining which direction you're going to go. This figured to be a running ball game. The Chicago Bears have some wide receivers banged up, and Walter Payton's been coming on very strong, so the Bears figured to run against Detroit. The Lions ran an awful lot against Minnesota, probably too much last week, so this could be one of the fastest games of the year. I'm making a little prediction there. You never know what's going to happen in a football game, but it might be a fast one. And look at the ball. Eddie Murray says, I want this thing just right.
Well, it's taking them a while to get this kick off, and that's only due to the wind. They tried the tee, they tried a holder, and now there's an additional delay down here with the markers down at the 20-yard line. Evidently, one of those chains came apart. So we thought we might have a delay in the start of the game when those goalposts went down at about 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning, but they were replaced rather readily. And now the problem is just getting the chains and the ball ready to kick. The Lions tied with Minnesota at 5-4 in the Central Division of the NFC East, still in the wild card hunt. The Chicago Bears going for the Bo Derek today, looking for the perfect 10. Their best start since 1942. but they'll have to do it without quarterback Jim McMahon, who has a bruised body more than anything else. So wear and tear over the first 9 games of the season, but the shoulder being the primary problem, the reason why he is out of the lineup today.
One of the reasons that the Lions are 5-4 and have had some good games is because of the special teams, and Darryl Rogers started the special teams, announced them in the starting lineup for the first time this season.
All right, we're ready to play football at Soldier Field under gray skies and cold temperatures, and Murray blasts that through the end zone, and Chicago will start from their 20-yard line. The field is wet in spots. There was a tarp. We've referred to that, as it played a role in knocking over the uprights. Steve Fuller will be the quarterback, with Payton and Suey the running backs. Willie Gall playing with sore ribs. Ken Marjoram replacing Dennis McKinnon as the starter. McKinnon with a sore knee. Covert, Bortz, Hilgenberg, Tom Thayer, Keith Van Horn, and Tim Reitman starting for Emery Moorhead at tight end, with Moorhead nursing an injury as well. The Bears effectively resting 2 or 3 players who can play and may indeed turn up in the game, but are banged up enough at this stage of the season. They're going with some other starters. Fuller brings them out. Matt Suey. Suey with a good hole on first down, picks up nearly 10 yards. Jimmy Williams, the linebacker, William Graham, the safety, and the Lions, who are last against the rush, have a problem on first down. Williams, English, and Gay are the front 3 and the new 3-4 defense this year. Williams, August Curley, Angelo King moving inside, replacing Kurt Allerman, who's injured. Vernon Maxwell gets his first start outside. The secondary has been fairly solid. Watkins and McNorton on the corners, Demetrius Johnson and William Graham the safeties. Suey again. Another first down.
And we see a trend developing right here. First 2 carries for Matt Suey. Obviously, the Lions have geared up to stop Walter Payton, who gained 192 yards last week, and the first 2 carries go to Matt Suey. So he may have a pretty big day today, but eventually Walter Payton's going to get that football also.
The linebackers King and Williams on the tackle again. The rush has been a problem for the Lions all season long, but their defensive philosophy with the personnel they have and the new 3-4 under defensive coordinator Wayne Fonts is basically a bend-don't-break offense. They think they can stop you down inside their 20. It is first down at the 41-yard line. This is Payton's first carry, and he gets about 7. 3 consecutive plays between the tackles. Vernon Maxwell, the linebacker from the outside right, number 98, making the tackle on the play. Maxwell picked up on waivers from San Diego after being out of action for a couple of months. On the sidelines, cut by the Chargers. He had been sent over there from the Indianapolis Colts, where just 2 short years ago he was Defensive Rookie of the Year in this conference. But Maxwell getting a reprieve here from his old coach at Arizona State, Darryl Rogers. Second in a long 5. Payton. Not too much. A couple for Walter Payton as Demetrius Johnson came up to help out the linebacker Vernon Maxwell, number 98. It'll be third, and about 3 yards remaining.
It'll be interesting to see if we see Ken Fantetti before this game is over. He's been activated, and he's always been one of Walter Payton's pursuers. He gets inspired when he plays against Walter Payton. Says, I can't wait to get in this football game.
Third down. Suey sets up on the wing right. Oftentimes he'll be the lead blocker for Walter Payton, but he comes in motion, and Payton runs behind him to the left. Not much good pursuit that time by the Lions. Linebacker August Curley, number 50, and the cornerback Bruce McNorton, number 29, made a fine defensive play, and they stopped the Chicago Bears.
And it was August Curley who came through. He found a little hole to get through there, came in from the inside, made the stop, and the Detroit Lions have stiffened and stopped the Chicago Bears on the first drive. Now the Bears will be punting against the wind.
Maury Buford into punt, currently second in the conference with an average of 44.4. And Pete Manley, a dangerous return man. He's second in the conference in that category. He's already returned 1 for a touchdown earlier this season, and should be looking at a wind-affected punt. And it hangs up at about the 25-yard line, comes down at the 19, and Manley burst of speed, gets over the Lions' 40-yard line to the 43. So the Lions have good field position. We have 11:08 remaining in the first quarter, no score. The Lions have their first offensive possession. Eric Hipple, the quarterback. Alvin Moore and James Jones, the running backs. Leonard Thompson and Mark Nichols, the wide receivers. Across the front, they have a number of banged-up players. They're really hurting at guard. The tackles are okay. Lomas Brown, Keith Dorney, mind you, he's got a broken toe. But Ray Snell getting his first start at left guard. Don Greco has been bothered with a concussion at right guard. Steve Mott with a broken finger at center. So the middle of the Lions' offensive line in a little bit of trouble. First down, play action. Hipple has a man wide open, Rubick. First down for Rob Rubick inside the 40-yard line of the Bears. Frazier and Duerson on the tackle.
Well, the Lions come out right away throwing the ball as Eric Hipple, who hasn't had an interception in 3 games, is 1 for 1 as you look at the Bear defensive line. Hampton, McMichael, William Perry getting a start once again, and Richard Dent at the right end position. The linebackers, the same as usual, Otis Wilson, Mike Singletary, and Wilbur Marshall, who has come on strong. Reggie Phillips gets the start at left cornerback for the injured Mike Richardson. Frazier, Duerson, and Fensick round out the defensive backfield.
Lions first down in Bears territory at the 39. A fumble and a good recovery by James Jones. Saw the problem with the pass from center from Mott to Hipple, and Jones, without any hesitation, dove on the loose ball.
Alert play by Jones. You know, the Lions, we were at practice on Thursday. They worked out in the Silverdome, and Darryl Rogers says, I want to kind of simulate this cold weather in Chicago. So he turned down the heat. It was about 45 degrees in the Silverdome, and
he didn't simulate it well enough, though.
It's a little colder than that here today.
Plus, there's no wind in the Silverdome. And it's 2nd and 12. We thought we were cool there in Detroit on Thursday. Boy, it is plenty cold here. This give is to James Jones. And a good defensive play by Wilson. Couldn't hold on, but slowed him down. Look at Jones drag tacklers all the way to the 35-yard line. It was Dent, not Wilson. Richard Dent had Jones, slowed him up, but the powerful fullback, 230 pounds, turned it into a gain of about 3. So a 5-yard pickup for James Jones.
Boy, that was a great piece of running. It was a tough 5 yards. He literally took 5 Chicago Bears an extra 3 or 4 yards. And of course, Jones is coming on strong. He's had a couple of 100-yard games and would like to have another one. He said the Bear defense is tough. He said, but I'm going to keep pile driving in there.
Well, and he's aware that he could have a 1,000-yard season on a team that featured Billy Sims and got Wilbert Montgomery to replace him. But James Jones, the fullback's the main man. And we have a timeout, a delay of game penalty. No, it's a Detroit timeout.
They avoided the delay of game penalty.
Right, exactly. With 9:06 to go in the first quarter, we still have a scoreless football game. Rookie coach Darryl Rogers of the Detroit Lions in the blue jacket. They're talking to his offensive coordinator Bob Baker and getting his first taste in the NFL of a day in the Windy City at Soldier Field. Third down, a long 6 for Detroit at the Bears 35. Loose ball again recovered by Chicago. Mike Singletary, number 50.
With this cold day, they're just having trouble with the snap there as Hipple was pulling out. Looks like he might have dropped the ball off Mott's rump, but anyway, he couldn't hang on to the ball, and Mike Singletary, number 50, makes the recovery. Tough blow for the Detroit Lions because with the wind behind them, they still, even if they had not made the third down situation, they would have had a shot at a field goal because of the strong wind. Now the Bears going against the wind. Steve Fuller at quarterback.
Second offensive possession for the Bears in this first period with 9:02 to play. From the 37-yard line off Singletary's fumble recovery, and Suey just got away, and he has a big hole for a first down out near midfield. William Graham, the free safety, number 33 on the tackle.
A little misdirection as they fake to Payton, and watch the offensive lineman. You're going to see Keith Van Horn and Tom Thayer come from the right side of the line to the left side of the line and throw the key blocks to turn Suey up the middle as he cuts behind the blocks with the action to Payton the other way. So Matt Suey getting some big yardage as the Lions are concerned about Walter Payton.
33 yards on 3 carries for Suey. First down at the Bears' 49-yard line. Payton with a big hole. He breaks loose. First down, Chicago at the Lions' 33, an 18-yard gain.
Big chunks against the Lion defense, which is been 28th against the league here. As you can just see, some straight ahead blocking now. Demetrius Johnson, 21, comes up. Payton is an attacker on offense. Did you see him put his shoulder into Johnson and busted the tackle and went downfield before he was knocked down? Walter Payton.
Roosevelt Barnes in defensively for Vernon Maxwell at linebacker. First down as the Bears rip up some more yardage, now in Lions territory for the first time. Suey stacked up by Doug English, number 78, the nose man. Pickup of 2, maybe 3 on the play. Let's see where they spot it.
Well, Doug English is a nice guy. He's a tough football player, but he helped Matt Suey up. And, of course, he's moved in on the nose now with the 3-4 defense. And he was telling us it's okay, but you can tell he doesn't really like it all that much. He'd rather play that 4-man front.
Yes, it was quite apparent that certainly from the pass rush point of view, that he thinks he can be more effective in the 4-man line. But he's a great team player and a Pro Bowler. And he'll certainly do the job on the nose, but the rush has been a problem for the Lions, obviously. Payton again out the left side, hauled down from behind after a gain of 2, maybe 3 by William Gay, the right defensive end, number 79.
Good play by Gay. Good play. Noted more for his pass rush. That time he played off the block. Jimbo Covert got in there and got his hands on the ball carrier, and it was a pretty good ball carrier he brought down.
Third down, and it'll be a long 5 for the Bears. They're at the Lions' 28-yard line. Mike Ditka with a nice warm jacket on the sidelines today.
But you can see that tie underneath. He's got his tie and his sweater because he dresses the same way for every game, no matter how cold it gets. He's got to have the same outfit on.
Third down Bears, shotgun first time. Fuller, hand out to Willie Gault. Gault running well, gets to the 16-yard line. Little dipsy-doodle by the track star, running out of the backfield in that shotgun formation. 11-yard gain.
And that's what should have alerted the Lions when Willie Gault, 83, stayed in the backfield. He gets the inside handoff from Steve Fuller and then goes up the field. And look at that hole. You could drive a Mack truck through that hole as Gault dances it around and gets the first down as the Bears are down to the 16-yard line. Big chunks of yardage. Willie Gault playing with sore ribs.
Now Gault set out wide to the right. Kenny Marjoram to the left. Bears from the eye. Suey to the 5-yard line. The safeties again on the tackle. They're the leading tacklers on the Lions. You can see why by this drive.
Watch Jay Hilgenberg, 63 on 78, Doug English. He takes him and turns him, gets some help from Thayer, and just seals Doug English, 78, right out of the play, and then pounces on him as Matt Suey goes right through the middle. Big yardage for Matt Suey, who is headed for a 100-yard day, and he hasn't had too many of those when you're in the same backfield with Walter Payton. And the refrigerator, William Perry, has come on, number 72. What will the Bears do with him this time?
He blocks, and Payton is stopped at the 2. Maxwell on the tackle.
Well, I think Perry missed his block. Bruce McNorton, number 29, comes across the line of scrimmage, and he dodges. Watch him dodge a refrigerator. He says, I'm getting out of his way. And the refrigerator still goes through and hits Demetrius Johnson. But there was a pursuit from the inside as they stopped the Bears at second down.
Second and goal from the 2-yard line. Calvin Thomas in the backfield with Suey and Payton. Thomas sets up on the wing left. In motion. Payton behind those 2 fullback blockers. Excellent stop by the Lions. Very little, if any, gain on the play. McNorton was there. Jimmy Williams, the linebacker, and Vernon Maxwell, the linebacker.
And the fans are calling for the fridge. I wonder if they'll get the fridge. He's not on the field right now. Jimmy Williams is probably going to be the man if the refrigerator does get in there again. He's still on the sidelines.
3rd and goal. Bears. Just inside the 3-yard line.
Fuller's a good runner.
Fuller rolls away from Johnson. Hit at the 4-yard line and stopped. 4th down, Chicago. Williams, Jimmy Williams and Demetrius Johnson, a flag on the play, however.
It's against Detroit.
Tough break for the Lions, who made 2 outstanding defensive plays, and Perry comes back on.
Holding, 54 defense, first down.
Roosevelt Barnes, defensive holding, 1st and goal. Chicago, a costly penalty, obviously. The ball at the 2-yard line.
The holding must have been on the receiver trying to get out into the end zone, because Fuller rolled out and was going to throw into that corner of the end zone, and there was nobody there. I didn't see the specific infraction, but it was a big one. It gives the Bears a first down.
6th down lineman. Perry sets up on the wing right. Payton, the lone setback. Thomas in motion with a block. Payton pulled down. What a great tackle. And it was Steve Bach, number 68, who plays on the goal line defense, the 2nd-year man from Oregon.
He slipped through from behind and caught the play from behind. Watch number 68 as he comes in, and Payton was about to turn up the field, and he makes a nice tackle from behind. The Bears actually lost yardage there. In fact, 2 or 3 yards.
Perry took on the safety.
And what did the Bears do? What did number 70 do? Well, he got in there and threw a little bit. Really kind of missed his block, though, actually.
Well, that's when he'll tell fans, hey, I'm a defensive tackle. Gentry and Suey in the lineup. Dennis Gentry straight ahead. He stopped as the Lions, just stiffening here at the goal line, having surrendered a 2nd first down with a penalty, have now stopped the Bears on consecutive plays. It is 3rd and goal.
And Walter Payton is not in there right now.
Gentry came in for Payton on the last play. And he is still on the field.
I don't know if Payton is hurt, but he is on the sidelines, and it's not a normal time to take him out of a football game. So we'll have to try and get a report on Walter Payton's situation. There he is right
There's
there.
Payton, and he does look to be in some pain. 3rd and goal. Fuller sneaking, diving, and no signal from the officials. The Bears say they've scored a touchdown. The Lions say no. The officials say nothing.
There was one signal. One official did.
Arms upraised from the signals. I didn't see that, Johnny.
Well,
Our referee is Tom Dooley.
Obviously, they're still a little bit in a state of deciding what the situation is. Now they're saying no. It's 4th down.
The Detroit Lions stuffing the Bears. Fuller got to about the 1-foot line, no further.
Now the Bears are in the process of going for the touchdown. They had Kevin Butler out in the field, and they brought him back. Well, let's take a look at it and see if he did cross the plane of that goal line. That was the big debate. As you can see, Fuller made a great effort at it, trying to dive over, and you can see the ball on the ground as that nose. It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say from that vantage point. We couldn't make a decision on it. They were down there closer. We have to give them the
Looked
call.
like the ball came loose, and Tom Thayer dove on it in the end zone, and he was one who raised his hands. There's the dive. Down he goes. I thought he was short, frankly, but the ball came loose. You see Thayer, number 57, he kind of rolls into the end zone, gathers in the ball. He has it there, but the play had been whistled dead. So Fuller stopped short, play whistle dead. A timeout on the field in the meantime, and a 4th down play in which, as you pointed out, Butler went out for the field goal attempt and was called back, and that's what this huddle is about.
He actually may have been going out to anticipate he was going to kick the extra point.
He may well have been. You're right.
Okay, now the refrigerator's coming in. Walter Payton is back in the football game. Suey is coming out.
There's Kevin Butler. He says, I'll be happy to wait here and kick an extra point instead of a field goal, but the Lions have other ideas. Don't forget that they had that penalty by Barnes that gave the Bears a second opportunity at a first down inside the 5. The 12th play coming up on this drive that started back on the Bears 37. They haven't thrown a pass to get here, but they haven't gotten into the end zone.
Usually during the season, in this situation where the distance is so short, the Bears have gone to the quarterback sneak with McMahon. How they do it with Fuller remains to be seen. There is Mike Ditka.
Perry on the wing right. Thomas on the wing left. Payton, the lone setback. Perry in motion. Fuller diving. Touchdown. A Lion player came out with the football claiming they had recovered a fumble, and Darryl Rogers is on the field supporting his player's point of view, but the touchdown has been signaled.
This low angle should provide a good view of just exactly what happened. They did go with the quarterback sneak. Boy, I couldn't see anything, could you? Just a pile of people.
So Butler with the point after. And the Chicago Bears had to battle their way into the end zone. 7 plays inside the 5-yard line. 63 yards in 12 plays. And a flag down.
12 men on the defense. Point is awarded.
12 men
Enforcement
on the
kickoff.
field for the Lions, and so the point after will count, and the penalty will be taken on the kickoff. 40 seconds remaining in the first period. The Bears 7-0. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris at Soldier Field, where the Bears used up 12 minutes and 14 seconds. Finally got on the scoreboard after 7 tries from inside the 5-yard line against a stubborn Detroit defense. Steve Fuller diving from a yard out. The Lions came up with the loose ball at the end of the play, but it was ruled a touchdown. A squib kick goes out of bounds at the Lions 23-yard line. The flags come down. And let's go back and look at that touchdown by Fuller, Johnny.
Now this view shows us exactly what happened. Steve Fuller did drop the ball after he received it here. Now you'll see it drop right. He loses control. It goes down to his knees, and then after that down to the turf. Now the Lions came up with the ball at least afterwards, so it is a debatable play because he did not cross the goal line, it appears, with possession of the ball.
So the Bears backed up to their 35, having kicked the ball out of bounds. They had originally kicked from the 40 because of the infraction against the Lions. And Butler into the wind. The ball comes down at the 16-yard line. And that is Alvin Moore getting over the 30 to about the 33. Morrissey and William Perry in on the tackle for Chicago. So the Bears, with 12 consecutive rushes, not one pass, used up 8:22 on the clock, went 63 yards, finally scored after 7 tries from inside the 5-yard line. And when they did score, it was somewhat disputed.
Look at the time of possession, 12 minutes to 2. The Lions have hardly had the ball. When they did have it, they were moving it.
And we're in the final minute of this first period. Play action. Hipple, a busted play, is sacked. Richard Dent, Steve McMichael, and Perry all there. Some kind of a miscue, Johnny.
It certainly was, and Otis Wilson is actually the first one there, 55, as they were doing that fake and the back, and he was going to throw the ball, so it's just that it was a slow developing play, and Hipple had no time to get up there and set up as the Bears put the all-out blitz on. And William Perry was in on the tackle, number 72, a two-way player.
22 seconds left in this first period. With this timeout, the Bears 7, Detroit nothing. free-spirited Jim McMahon enjoying the Bears' early lead and a day of rest as Steve Fuller takes over for the Bears' regular starting quarterback, who has a bad shoulder and basically a bruised body. It is second and about 17. James Jones is dropped by Dave Dewerson after a pickup of maybe 3 yards near the 30-yard line of the Lions. They'll spot it at the 28. Dave Dewerson, 10 seconds remaining in the quarter, and Dewerson has quietly done a fine job of replacing Todd Bell, the Bears holdout.
Look at this. The Lions are bringing a whole new team on. You don't suppose they're going to punt on 3rd down, do you?
Well, I think they are, because Mike Black is dropping back to punt.
This is the Lions right now look like they're going to punt on 3rd down. Now, I mean, could they be so afraid of the Bears' pass rush on 3rd down? I can't understand this.
Well, we see Minnesota ahead of Green Bay 7-3 in the first period. As we sort out these circumstances, the Rams leading the Giants 7-0. And Buffalo ahead of Houston 3-0.
I got to believe, as you look at Philadelphia leading Atlanta 7-0, I mean, I guess they're taking advantage of the quarter situation. Are we into the second quarter?
No,
that's it. That's got to be it. They're going to punt with the wind.
They want to punt with the wind, must be the answer.
Yes.
And remember, later today on CBS Sports, the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins in a key NFC East game. The Cowboys at 6-3, tied with the Giants, and Washington at 5-4, tied with, or rather ahead of Philadelphia at 4-5. The Eagles tied with St. Louis at 4-5. So a real battle for playoff positions in the Eastern Division, and an old traditional rivalry that should be a tongue war out there today. Dallas and Washington later today here on CBS Sports, and all of you will be seeing that except those of you in the Chicago area.
I guess Darryl Rogers figured that 3rd and 15, and he wasn't going to take the shot on that. As you can see, the heaters on the sidelines trying to keep their hands warm. I don't know why. Most of them are wearing gloves anyway. They wear gloves in these days in the NFL, right?
You didn't have gloves back in '63, I know, Johnny. All right. Well, the Lions want to kick that ball with the wind, which is a considerable factor here today. We have seen it on the kickoffs by the Bears' Butler. So on 3rd down, they will punt. And as Darryl Rogers, in describing the way they've been playing this season, is to utilize the long field for the opposition, the short field for themselves. Black had to field a high snap. It was nearly blocked, and a flag is down. Dewerson at the 8-yard line. The Bears are probably going to be called for roughing or running into the kicker.
Otis Wilson was back there, and he ran into Black after he punted the ball. Now, Otis Wilson, 55, may have been confused by the fact that he had to jump up and get the ball and thought that maybe the protection for the punter was off. But it's not off unless the ball hits the ground.
Tom Dooley.
Personal foul, running into the kicker. Number 55 on the receiving team, 1st down.
Well, the Lions were playing defensively and wound up with a big break here. They've got a 1st down.
There's the hit by Otis Wilson after Black got rid of the ball, and he did hit him. There's no question about the situation. Correct call. The Lions maintain possession.
They'll have a 1st down at their 33-yard line. Larry Lee is snapping the punts for the Lions. The regular snapper David Jones went on to injured reserve with a neck injury this week. So Larry Lee nearly threw that one away, but it turns into a big break for the Lions. This is Alvin Moore. Moore gets about 1.5 yards to the 35-yard line as time expires in the first quarter at Soldier Field, with the Chicago Bears leading 7-0. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field, where Darryl Rogers' Lions typically hanging in the game, and yet in the first period they had only 2 1st downs and 19 total yards to 89 for the Chicago Bears, and it took a disputed touchdown to give Chicago the lead. Lions ball at their own 35, 2nd and 8. Loose ball, flag down. Bears say they've recovered. We'll wait for the official signal, but a flag is also on the play.
Boy, is Eric Hipple having trouble taking the snap.
Ball start, 67, no fumble.
Don Greco charged with a false start, and Greco furious at the call, being calmed down by Keith Dorney, but the Lions do not lose the ball.
You can see 67, he's the right guard there, just moved a little bit. Apparently that, yes, that stops the play, and the play is dead, so the play does not go through, and the Bears do not get the ball on the fumble recovery.
So it'll be backed up to the 29-yard line, and will be a second down and 13. Lions now at their 30, playing into this considerable wind at Soldier Field. Hipple play action. Perry in pursuit. Intercepted by Duerson. Some rough stuff between a still distraught Don Greco and Bears linebacker Otis Wilson, but Duerson has picked it off for the Bears, who have field position in Lions territory.
This is a play that the Lions use quite a bit, and it's a late developing play, and that's what really gets them in trouble here as they do the one fake and then back on the counter of the lineman. And Hipple didn't even see Duerson 22 as the refrigerator was after him, and he threw. He was trying to lead his receiver Leonard Thompson, and Dave Duerson was standing right there for the interception. The Bears have the ball in Lion territory.
Steve Fuller, the quarterback. Slot formation right. Payton, the lone setback. He has the ball. Behind the tackle, Van Horn, a gain of 4.
Walter Payton, who has 4 straight 100-yard games now. He's heading towards 15,000 yards. And you're going to see a lot of running in this football game, as we said, and it seems to continue here.
Payton with 192 yards last week. Third best day of his illustrious career. And approaching the 1,000-yard season, he had 844 coming into the game today. Second down and 6.
Good play by Jimmy Williams there. Nice tackle. And Ken Fantetti is now in the ball game, number 57. So he'll be seeing his first action. He had a bad thumb, a broken thumb early in the season, the exhibition season. Played, I think, the first, yes, he played the first regular season game and then was out. And he's been wanting to get in there, and he is going to have a few collisions with Walter Payton before this football game is over. You can bet on that.
It was apparent in talking with us yesterday that he feels he's got to prove himself to the Lions coaching staff, as well as prove himself to the Chicago Bears today. Third down after Suey's run. Suey trying to get the first down, and he is very close. Matt Suey, more of a force today. Yes, he has the first down. More of a force today than he has been in any game in the first 9. Fantetti and Johnson made the stop for the Lions. Injured linebackers for the Lions. They have a total of 18 players on the injury list, and several of them are key performers. People like Michael Kofer, James Harrell, Martin Moss, Dwayne Galloway have figured to be a nickelback for them. Of course, Billy Sims, Chris Dietrich, and wide receiver Jeff Chadwick, and then Wilbert Montgomery they got to replace Sims. This is Payton, and a diving tackle by August Curley. Loose ball on the play. The Lions pile up there trying to come up with the fumble recovery, but it looks like the Bears have maintained possession. August Curley, number 50, the third-year man from USC, has been very aggressive defensively in this game so far. The ball at the Lions' 22-yard line. There's Curley, 6'3", 230-pounder.
Number 42.
Emery Moorhead has come in to make a double tight formation for the Chicago Bears, joining Tim Reitman. Moorhead bothered with an injury, and Reitman getting the start today, but they will use the double tight end formation. Rolling is Fuller. Fuller to the tight end, and it is intercepted or not?
Yes. No.
Incomplete. It was Vernon Maxwell had the hand on the ball. Let's see who had the opportunity. I think Johnson to catch it.
Steve Fuller was just off on this pass as he threw back behind, and you can see it's deflected.
That's Maxwell.
And
it's
August Curley.
And then I think
it's McNorton, isn't it?
Yes, you're right.
Bruce McNorton. Boy, there's people all over the place there. Didn't quite get it. Third down situation for the Bears. Third and about 8.5.
So another break for Chicago. That could well have been an interception. Galt in motion out of the shotgun. Fuller, sideliner, incomplete. Ken Marjoram could not hold on. Ball was there in first down yardage.
And the Lions opted to blitz that time, and they brought everybody a safety blitz as Fuller was under pressure, and it worked for Detroit.
It'll be fourth down, and Kevin Butler will come on. Fuller's second pass was on target, but Marjoram couldn't make the grab.
Well, the wind is going to be behind Kevin Butler, so distance is not going to be a problem here.
He may kick it into Lake Michigan from here.
If he hits a side gale or something like that, it might blow it right towards. It is really strong, kind of crosswind, too.
They'll spot it just inside the 30-yard line for a 39-yard attempt. Butler 16 of 20 so far this year. Loose ball got by Fuller. Butler having difficulty. Lions pick up the ball. And the Bears blow the opportunity on the field goal as the wind and slippery conditions playing a role in this football game. Fuller simply couldn't make the catch. Butler never got a chance to kick it. We'll be back with 12:05 to play first half. Chicago in front. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris. Let's take a look at it, Johnny.
Well, notice Fuller does not have gloves on. He's one of the few players. Of course, he's the quarterback. It goes right through his hands. And then Kevin Butler has trouble picking it up, and the Lions recovered.
Curtis Green was the apparent recoverer. First down, Detroit. James Jones off tackle right. Gains about 3 yards to the 40-yard line. William Perry made the tackle. And for an NFL update, let's go to our studios in New York and Brent Musburger.
Well, Tim, the Cardinals won on Monday night, but here against Tampa Bay, they suddenly are down by 10 points as Steve DeBerg goes to Adger Armstrong, and it's 10-0 right now. Let's go back to Tim and Johnny.
Everybody says it might be the week for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the best winless team in football. And maybe today's the day against the Cardinals. The Buccaneers just seem to find ways to lose, and they've really got a lot more talent than the record indicates. This is James Jones, and he picks up a couple of more over the 40-yard line to the 42. Richard Dent on the tackle.
Well, the refrigerator number 72, William Perry, is getting more and more action these days. He's playing now on defense quite a bit. Let's see what happens to the refridge, because he's going to get collapsed down there. He's kind of lost his footing and submarined, and the whole line, offensive line jumped on the refridge.
Well, the Lions said that they were going to try to defrost the refrigerator.
Well, they did that time.
It is third down, a long 5. Nichols, Thompson, and Manley, 3 wide receivers. Hipple gets time and hits his man. Nichols for a first down to midfield. Dave Duerson on the coverage, and Hipple connecting. Mark Nichols with 19 catches coming into the game.
This time the Bears used just a straight 4-man rush after faking the blitz, and actually 72, William Perry gets the closest, but it was Hipple concentrating on what he has to do. He looks for Nichols and hits him right on the button, and Nichols gets the first down for Detroit.
So the Lions at midfield playing into the wind here in this second period, trailing 7-0 with 10:05 to play in the first half. Lone setback is Jones. Jones, nothing in the middle, takes it outside, and the Bears shut it down. His effort gets him about 2, maybe 3 yards. Marshall, Singletary, and Wilson, all 3 linebackers, arrived to say hello to James Jones. I'm talking with James yesterday, saying, you know, you were all of a sudden the main man here. A lot of single back work with the Sims and Montgomery gone from the Lions lineup. A man who figured to be primarily a blocker for those tailbacks finds himself as the man most responsible. His attitude is terrific.
It certainly is. And once you find that the Lions get somebody back, whether it be Sims or somebody they draft that can take some pressure off of Jones here, he's going to be even better.
Jones Jones diving straight ahead, picks up 4 more, maybe 5. Singletary with an ankle tackle.
There's Darryl Rogers, who was in the college ranks for 20 years and a success wherever he was.
I think he's striding that sideline to keep warm. To find somebody to go and talk to at each end of the bench so he can keep moving.
It's a little hunched over when he goes one direction. That wind must be pretty strong.
The wind is really high here, and you can see our shaky picture. That's because the wind is literally blowing the lenses of our television cameras. It is 3rd down and 4, and Hipple overthrows Rob Rubick, who was open, and he had pressure from Steve McMichael. His man was open in the flat, the tight end, Rubick, number 84.
Rubick is going to be a guy who's going to be open today because he's delaying out of his blocking position. Hipple just missed him that time, or they would have had a 1st down. But the play with that fake action of the counter the other way is taking a long time for it to develop as he rolls out on a partial rollout. By the time he gets ready to throw the ball, the Bears are after him.
Mike Black into punt. Ken Taylor at the Bears' 10-yard line. Black standing at his own 41. And a mix-up on the count. Relayed to the line from August Curley, who is calling the signals on the punt unit. High snap again. Good catch by Mike Black. And he angles to the corner. It takes a Bears bounce upfield. And then he is knocked out of bounds by the Lions' Mike Mead. A 21-yard punt. And the wind continues to play a role. The Bears continue to lead 7-0.
Have owned the Bears. Payback time for Chicago could come next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Quite a lineup next Sunday on CBS Sports, beginning with the NFL today. Brent Musburger and company. The unbeaten Bears so far today against the Dallas Cowboys, and that should be quite a meeting. Minnesota at Detroit, another key matchup in the wild card picture. Philadelphia and St. Louis. New Orleans at Green Bay, Tampa Bay at the New York Jets. Check the local listings for the games and times in your area. Mike Ditka will take his Bears back into Dallas, where he was an assistant under Tom Landry. Fuller on 1st down, and it is complete. Ken Marjoram, number 82 from Stanford, getting the start for Dennis McKinnon. And they're resting his sore knee today. Comes up with a catch. 8-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 2. Marjoram coming off knee surgery a year ago. He was on injured reserve all last year. Went through that unusual rehab program. Did a lot of bicycling. That's what was really kind of his own choice. And he feels, Johnny, that he's faster now than he was before the injured knee.
The Bears confirm that. They think he is a little bit faster. And he's playing most of the time today. Dennis McKinnon does play on some 3rd down situations.
2nd and 2, Chicago. Calvin Thomas in the backfield, leading for Payton, who has the 1st down. To the 39 of Chicago. Doug English with the tackle.
And boy, did Calvin Thomas bust up there through there just like Matt Suhey does. Thomas is number 33. He's had some bad shoulder problems. Watch him come right up the middle, and you're going to see him put the hit on Doug English, 78, and it really puts a hit on him. And English did get in on the tackle, but he was knocked out of the way so that Payton could get a few yards before he was able to make that tackle as the Bears continue to run that ball.
1st down, Chicago at their own 39-yard line. Thomas off the wing, blocks for Payton again into the middle, and it's about a 4, maybe 5-yard pickup for the wondrous one. Eric Williams and Ken Fantetti on the hit.
One thing you notice about the Bear blocking is a lot of angle blocks, a lot of people in motion coming in angles, a lot of traps. The Bears don't try and block straight ahead that much to muscle you like some of the rushing teams that are the better rushing teams in the league. They try and finesse you and then hit you hard from the side. They try and create angles, and it's really tough on a 3-man front that the Lions have sometimes.
2nd down and about 6. Payton trying to get outside, and he goes nowhere. Excellent play by Demetrius Johnson, the safety, number 21, coming up to put the wraps on Payton at the line of scrimmage.
The Lion defensive backs have had to make a lot of tackles this year, haven't they, Tim?
68 for William Graham, 53 for Demetrius Johnson. That's credit to them, but obviously discredit to the linebackers and the line in front of them. They've been making a lot of tackles downfield, and yet one of the things they've done well is what we saw here before surrendering the touchdown, 7 plays inside the 5.
Yes, and the Lions have changed some of their personnel. Curtis Green is in there. He's one of the defensive end. They're a 4-man rush now.
3 wide receivers for the Bears. Rolling is Fuller. Fuller can't find the man, and he is dropped just over the line of scrimmage. In fact, he didn't even get to the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss. English and Curtis Green, number 62, put the stop on him.
And great pursuit by Green and Doug English as Steve Fuller. You're going to get his view of it. Now, he rolls out right away to try and stay away from the rush. But you're going to see 62 and 78. Now, they're interior linemen. Of course, Green is on the outside, but you can see him come down the line of scrimmage and avoid the blocks and put the pressure on Fuller, who can't see anybody down the field. And then it's 62 and 78 in on the tackle. Good defense by the Detroit Lions.
So they've stopped the Bears once more, and Maury Buford into punt with the win. Buford hits it from his 31. Nearly blocked. Flag down. Gentry keeps it out of the end zone. It is down at the 4-yard line, but a flag is down back in the Bears punting unit area where Buford was contacted by the Detroit rush. Second of those we've seen today. The first one happened against the Bears.
Personal foul, running into the kicker. 36 on the receiving team. First down.
Mike Mead is charged with the crime.
They came with the all-out rush on this time, and their angles were bad because if they missed the ball, they were headed right for him, and Mead was headed right for the punter and committed the infraction, and it's a costly one for the Lions, who've done so well on some areas of the special teams. The coaches keep telling you, come from the angle on the side, go in front of the punter so that you don't hit him if you miss the ball. But that time, if he hadn't hit the ball, you knew he was going to hit the kicker. So no, it's not right how you raise your hands, Mike. It's the angle that you go for the ball.
Well, turnabout is fair play. The Bears had a similar penalty, and it gave the Lions a first down in almost the same situation in the field. Chicago first down at their 46-yard line. Straight drop by Fuller. Gets time. Short man is Payton out of the backfield. To the 21-yard line of Detroit. The magic of Walter Payton.
And you're going to see Tim Reitman and Payton in the same area as Payton comes through all those linemen. 80 comes through, and there's Payton, and you can't reach for him. You got to get him there as he breaks away and turns and then dips to the outside, and you're going to see some high stepping here by Walter Payton. There it is. That's for the viewers. That's the showboat of Walter Payton, and he's not a real showboat, but he likes to high step it when he gets out in the open. What a great runner.
To the 21-yard line. Payton in motion. Fuller to Payton. First down, Chicago at the 10-yard line of the Lions.
Boy, the guy that was in trouble on this play was number 21, Demetrius Johnson. You'll see what he had to do once Fuller got to the outside, as the Bears are rolling more rollouts. Mark Bortz, 62, leading the way. 21 is downfield. He didn't know whether to cover Payton or whether to start to come forward to cover Steve Fuller, who could have run. And finally, Fuller throws to Payton, and Demetrius Johnson knocks him out of bounds.
12 first downs for the Bears to only 3 by the Lions with 4 minutes remaining in the half. Fuller made that pass absolutely perfectly on the run and drawing up that defender before he released the ball. Bostic in as an extra back.
Oh, William Graham, boy, was he in there.
Thomas blasting straight ahead for about 3 yards.
William Graham has always been a good tackler. Of course, he's a free safety, was a strong safety, and he's usually the one that puts the hits on Walter Payton. He says he likes to take the challenge of going for for the best runner in football, and he's done fairly well overall. He's gotten into a few tussles with Walter Payton because Payton feels that he lays on him too long after he makes the tackle, but that time it was Thomas.
Well, he made it clear that he has great respect for Walter Payton. Second down. Moorhead cannot hold on. Emory Moorhead had the ball in his hands. It popped up, and then he took the hit from William Graham and could not get the ball back.
Third. Emory Moorhead is playing with a sore knee, and William Graham just came up with another good play because once he juggled the ball, Graham did what you're supposed to do, just jolt that receiver, and he jolted the ball loose.
Bobby Watkins had come off the corner. There he is in the bottom of your screen, number 27, with an apparent injury that turned out to be minor. He's come back out there. He's a fine, solid player for them on the corner.
Boy, he seemed ready for the game when we talked to him, didn't he?
Sure did.
Right.
It is third and goal. They give us a Calvin Thomas touchdown.
Calvin Thomas got the touchdown, and who got the block? Walter Payton. You're going to see, watch William Graham, 33 come in. He's in there to stop that run, and 34, Walter Payton will put the hit on him right there at the left of your screen as Calvin Thomas, who's suffered through a lot of injuries, and he's got 2 bad shoulders. Now, you're going to watch Payton's block now. He has to jolt William Graham, and he gets him right there, 34 on 33, and that was the key as the rest of the Bear offensive line just split the line wide open as Fantetti was out in the hole also.
Kevin Butler for the point after. Georgia rookie. Fuller pulled down a high snap, and Butler blasts it in. So with 3:10 to play in the first half, it's sold out Soldier Field. The unbeaten Bears 14-0. And an unbeaten team finally getting some credit. They've got their own poster. John, will help me
That's
with
right.
this?
This is a takeoff on the Blues Brothers. They said, we want to get some publicity, so they put the dark glasses and the hats on. They've made a commercial this week for a couple of big companies and takeoff of the Blues Brothers, and so the offensive line is getting some credit.
The Black and Blues Brothers, and they just led Matsui into the end zone. The running game today as the Bears plan to use it, rather Thomas into the end zone. Calvin Thomas getting the touchdown, and the offensive line today really figured to play the role that they have, Johnny, because the Lions 28th last in the league against the rush. Bears taking advantage of it.
They certainly are. Can I keep that poster? I'd like to take that one home. I think it's kind of unique.
Well, I bet they'll autograph it for you too. So Chicago with a 14-0 lead with 3:10 remaining here in the first half of play. And I know the fans looking in around the country with the rain turning to snow appreciate how tough you are, Johnny, but I'm keeping this overcoat on. Alvin Moore is the deep man, and Alvin Hall. It's taken by Hall, number 35. And Alvin Hall with a good return, hit hard from behind, wound up getting about 3 more from the Bears jolt over the 30-yard line. Sean Gale on a hit for the Bears. Alvin Hall needed just 38 yards on kickoff returns to become the all-time leader in that department on the Detroit Lions. The record held by Tommy Watkins, 2,262. First down from the 30-yard line. Eric Hipple with one setback. James Jones. Jones, good hard running by Jones, carrying tacklers all the way out to the 37-yard line. Dan Hampton and Fensick finally hauled him down, and Fensick got up limping. 2:42 remaining here in this first half of play. And coming up shortly at halftime, the NFL Today will feature Brent Musburger with George Allen. Scores and highlights from around the league, and our feature today, the legend of the game, the Over the Hill Gang. Everybody remembers them. I'm sure George Allen will be talking about them and about the Bears. He was once the defensive coach of Chicago, and he's watching another great defensive team with this edition of the Bears. Jones picks up 2, maybe 3, and he'll be first down yardage. Yes, he will, with the spot of the ball at the 40-yard line. Singletary, Fensick, and Marshall all piling on to James Jones. He is a strong young man. 24 years of age, from Florida, their #1 pick in 1983.
Well, the Lions have a difficult job ahead of them because they're moving against the wind. We have 2 minutes left, 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first half, and you can't really throw very well because the wind, I mean, we just can't tell you how much and how strong that wind is, and to throw against it's tough. To run down the field and get some points on the board in the 2 minutes on a running game is very difficult against the Chicago Bears. Once they get ahead of you, 14-0.
Well, we see the Rams are in front of the Giants 10-0 in the second period, and a big game for the Giants. And of course, the Rams trying to stay ahead of the 49ers in the West. Philadelphia shutting out Atlanta 14-0. The Falcons continue to struggle. The Eagles continue to rise. Cleveland and Cincinnati tied at 7. And Buffalo in front of Houston. Houston's won 3 in a row, but trailing in the second period. And a typically tough battle. Pittsburgh 20 and Kansas City 14. The Chiefs have been on the skids recently. Eric Hipple talking about the wind. Johnny is 2 for 4 and 27 yards and throwing into it here with these final 2 minutes and 5 seconds. He's had 1 picked off by Dave Duerson.
And they only threw 13 passes last week. And going back at the game and looking at that Minnesota game they lost, they probably should have thrown the ball a little bit more. Rob Rubick is the guy who might be open. Let's see if he's come back in the game, because he's been delaying and been open quite a bit as he's a blocker and then checks down. So we'll see what they do with that. The shorter passes are your much better situation against this wind.
The Bears took this time out. We have not yet reached the 2-minute warning. There's 2:05 remaining.
David Lewis is in there.
3 wide receivers with Lewis, and a busted play and a sack. McMichael and Wilson swarming in on Hipple, and it looked like there was a miscue that probably wouldn't have mattered because the Bears defenders were in the backfield.
It's not really that much of a miscue because it's a slow developing counter and then he goes out. It's just the fact that the Bears came through very quickly, but it's also a slow developing play, as you saw McMichael and Otis Wilson in there, and that play is just not working for the Lions. They better get off of it because they don't have that time, that kind of thing. They got to throw quicker stuff.
2 minutes remaining first half. The Bears in front 14-0. Johnny Morris at Soldier Field, and Eric Hipple seems to be having a problem with the center Steve Mott, Johnny.
Well, you can see Mott snaps the ball up. Of course, he's got a bad finger, and Hipple doesn't quite get the exchange that well, and you know he's bobbled 2 or 3, so apparently there's just some problem there.
Drop play here for James Jones, running hard up the middle and still going all the way to the 49-yard line.
Hipple is hurt.
And a flag down back at the 20 where Richard Dent arrived with Eric Hipple, and Hipple limping. The penalty apparently is going to be assessed against the Bears. A 16-yard pickup by Jones.
And the penalty, I think, is going to have to go against Dent because he really hit Hipple. Hipple was faking. Of course, he had already given the ball off and was on the inside handoff. So let's hear the call.
Personal foul, 95 defense, first down.
Personal foul for a little extracurricular activity on Eric Hipple. Referee Tom Dooley with the call.
Richard Dent says the fake was so good I thought he had the ball. Here's the handoff to James Jones, 30, as he goes up the field. But watch Dent right here on Eric Hipple, and I'm sure that Dent's going to maintain, hey, I thought he still had the ball, as James Jones ran up the field.
Yeah, he'd have to take that to the People's Court, I think.
That's right. He'd have to plead his case somewhere.
First down, Lions at the 36-yard line. Jones gets a breather. Hipple already sore from being knocked out of the game last week against Minnesota with a couple of injuries. And he is hit again, and William Perry, 308 pounds, lands on top of Eric Hipple. Third. In this first half, Hampton led the charge,
and it was 50, Mike Singletary, who got through first as they do a little crisscross, and here comes 50. Hipple had no chance to get the ball off as Singletary misses him, but of course he delayed everything, and here comes the refrigerator, 72, William Perry along with Dan Hampton. So you'll get a good chance to see how the Bears blitz the attack here, blitz the offensive scheme of blocking.
Second down, draw play, big hole, Jones. Flag down. James Jones to the 28-yard line. A flag on the play.
It's going to be against the Detroit Lions. Somebody got caught for holding.
What a tough break for the Lions. Another beautiful run by Jones. A perfectly executed draw play will go for naught.
Well, that's the way you attack that Bear defense, isn't it? Twice they've...
Holding, 52 offense, second down.
That's the center, Steve Mott.
Okay, let's watch him. Dan Hampton is there. You see 52, he's the center. Let's watch number 99, Dan Hampton, and you see the refrigerator 72. Now, Mott makes the snap, and he puts his hands out there, and does he grab onto Hampton as he hooks him around the arm there? And there goes Jones by, but he really did pull him down, didn't he?
And Hampton is a load for anybody to handle. Sean Gale comes in defensively. Perry comes out. It is second and very long back at the 45 of Detroit. Hipple screen pass. James Jones slips and falls at the 45-yard line of the Bears. Jones likes to catch that football. He's a fine receiver out of the backfield and was just getting up steam when he lost his footing on a slick portion of the carpet here at Soldier Field.
The Lions now trying to counter the Bears' ferocious rush with the little screen pass. You see Jones, number 30, at the right of your screen. He waits, they count, and then he yells. As soon as he gets the ball, he says, go, and the linemen are supposed to turn up the field, and Jones slips as he hit toward the sidelines, or he would have had maybe 4 or 5 more yards.
Third down and nearly 20. The ball at the Bears' 44-yard line. Draw play, and the Bears all over that one. A loss of 6 back to the midfield stripe. You see several of the players getting up with what appears to be blood all over their pants. It's from that big Red Sea that got wet.
Well, the Bears came with everybody but the kitchen sink. As you see that Richard Dent, 95, is inside there with Otis Wilson, 55. And 3 Bears get right through there. 95, 99, Dan Hampton, Richard Dent, they were all there. And the Lions had no chance. I mean, they went through there like there was nothing there.
So it is 4th down. Here's Richard Dent.
Leads the team in sacks with 95 going into this game.
Next week, college football on CBS Sports. We'll present Iowa against Purdue or Maryland against Clemson. Check your local listings for the live action at 2:30 Eastern Time. Number 6 ranked Iowa was awesome yesterday, walloping Illinois 59-0. Did Chuck Long have 4 touchdowns in that game?
Yes, and they were throwing in the 4th quarter. They were ahead 49-0.
Well, you know, things like the Heisman are at stake. One would hate to think that that was the motivation, but they are an outstanding football team, and you'll see them next week on CBS Sports.
Mike Black has proven that he's a pretty good athlete. He's had to leap for a couple of the snaps as Dennis McKinnon is back to receive the punt. McKinnon with that sore knee.
He's standing at the 10-yard line. Black will be punting into this considerable wind with 59 seconds remaining in the first half. High snap, and Black does a good job again and gets a good kick into that wind. The ball just bounced straight up into the hands of Rick Kane, number 32 of the Lions, who downs it inside the Bears' 20. A 30-yard punt, pretty good job. And in 51 seconds of playing time, we'll be going to our studios in New York for the NFL Today, and we'll be joining Brent George Allen, scores and highlights, and special features as we bring you up to date on the activity around the NFL Today. And don't forget, later today, we're going to be seeing Dallas and Washington. The Cowboys tied atop the standings with the Giants, who are trailing the Rams at the moment 13-0. And the Washington Redskins still very much in the picture in that NFC East as they have rallied back. Fuller. Suey. Broke one tackle and has a first down at the 32-yard line. 13-yard gain, 36 seconds and counting down. Curley made the stop for the Lions. Bears in the hurry up. Payton. Jimmy Williams couldn't hold him. Payton gets up to the 40-yard line. Demetrius Johnson, Doug English ranging back, made the play defensively. And the clock stopped with 18 seconds remaining as Payton got out of bounds. Fuller gets some instruction from the Bears sideline, gets the next set of plays. They'll have a second and a long 2. Well, second and about 2 at the 40-yard line.
And remember, they don't have to go quite as far for in field goal range because of the strong wind behind them. Tim Reitman is in the game out there in the slot. He's the guy they like to go through in this kind of a situation, number 80.
Fuller gets lots of time, goes to the short man, and it should be first down yardage to Payton.
Fuller to Payton.
9 seconds and ticking. They'll have to hustle to get this play off. They throw it out to the sideline to stop the clock, but zeros are showing on the scoreboard, and they did not beat the clock. So at halftime, now wait a minute, flags are down. Are they going to play another play here or not? Is the penalty on the offense or the defense? A huddle at...
Well, if they are, they're going to have to run into the locker room and get the Bears out.
It might be the band that's going to make the next play. Both teams have headed to their locker rooms.
It depends on the penalty, whether it was against the defense or the offense.
False start, 74 offense, half is over.
The penalty was against the Bears, Jim Covert, and so at halftime, the score, the Chicago Bears 14, the Lions nothing.
Field alongside Lake. And as we talked, it became clear
that the wind is really the problem. They're somewhere in the mid-30s, but the wind is making it a lot colder.
One of Mike Ditka's objectives was because obviously the Bears are looking a little bit ahead. They're playing the Dallas Cowboys next week, and that's a big one for Mike Ditka, going back to coach against his old mentor, Tom Landry. So right now things are going well for the Chicago Bears, up 14-0, and they have a... If you check back the early part of this season, the Bears have outscored opponents in the second half something like 132-30. It's unbelievable how strong the Bears have been in the second half, because once they get ahead, that defense comes to the fore. So Mike Ditka, with a career record of 30-20, one of George Halas's last acts before he died was to hire this man. So Papa Bear Halas deserves a lot of credit too.
Lions will kick it off. They have the wind with them. And it goes right through the end zone. Dennis Gentry gave it a look and then let it fly. That wind is really something down there. In that first half, the Lions had just 54 yards of net offense. The Bears 196. And the real key stat, the time of possession, you can see at the lower right hand of your screen there. 21 minutes and 5 seconds for the Bears. Just under 9 minutes for the Lions. Pretty hard to score if you don't have the ball longer than that. And the Bears connecting on 2 touchdowns. Steve Fuller from a yard out on a somewhat disputed play. It looked like the ball had come loose as he hit the goal line. And then Calvin Thomas going in from 7 yards out. First down, Chicago from their own 20. Fuller, the quarterback, number 4. His second start of the year. And a big hole for Suey. That's how the game began for the Bears on their first offensive possession. A straight-ahead dive by Suey for a first down. 15-yard gain.
You would think the Lions would have to start filling some of these gaps. That 3-man front is not working. Take a look at Jay Hilgenberg and Tom Thayer. Jay Hilgenberg just wheels out Doug English out of the play there, and Matt Suey goes right up the middle. Jay Hilgenberg, center who doesn't get too much publicity, but he sure does the job. Number 63 is Matt Suey, heading for a 100-yard game. 8 rushes for 69 yards. The leading rusher for the Bears today.
Where were the linebackers on that play? They were not in sight on the replay, the 2 middle linebackers. Suey, again, this time dropped after a gain of 2. Eric Williams. Williams, the second-year man from Washington State, their 3rd pick a year ago, and has become the starter at left defensive end this season.
He had 5 tackles last week. He plays with, of course, all the defensive linemen of the Lions play with those knee braces now that they are making them wear. He says that thing is bulky, he said, but I'm getting used to it now.
It's a preventive measure, and it is a requirement on the part of the Lions in all of the interior linemen, both offense and defense. 2nd and 8. Washington Redskins do that as well, and I think we'll see that more and more around the league. Suey, and William Gay wraps him up. As Gay got around Walter Payton, surely somebody else was supposed to help on a big guy like Gay, but he had a free path to Suey and made the big defensive play for no gain. William Gay, 30 years of age, 6'5", 260-pounder, out of USC.
He used to get in a lot of trouble with extracurricular activities and hitting the quarterbacks, but he's kind of settled down a little bit last year or so.
Mellowed with age.
Yes.
Third down and 8. Out of the shotgun, the Bears. McKinnon in motion. Inside to Payton. Payton is stacked up at the 40-yard line, well short of the first down. Lions responded to the ball very well on that play. Linebacker Vernon Maxwell, and at the bottom of the stack, August Curley. Doug English.
Yes, Doug English did a real good job. He hung in there. He's been getting pounded around there at that nose guard position, but that time he took all the punishment and helped jammed it up, as the Bears will be punting against the wind, so the Lions could come out of this with good field position.
Buford from the 25-yard line of the Bears. Pete Manley as the deep man. One of the good ones this season in the NFL. Long count, and maybe too long. They use it all up. 5 seconds on the clock.
Well, you see they had a 4th and 5 situation. They were trying to draw the Lions off sides there with the long count, because if they could get the penalty, they would have the first down.
And apparently the ball too greasy for Jay Hilgenberg, who asked them to replace it, and they will reset the clock.
Yeah, that's a pretty good maneuver, wasn't it?
They haven't reset the game clock, so they rolled off a few seconds there, and they get a new 30. And a very short punt into the wind by Buford off the side of his foot. Might have been still a greasy ball, at least off the shoe of Maury Buford. And it turns into a 7-yard punt, and the Lions will have field position at the Bears' 47-yard line when we return.
Nowadays, when a businessman gets stuck in his car, he doesn't have...
Now, here's what happened with Buford's punt. He was actually kind of rushed, and it just goes off the side of his foot. He just made a bad punt. He hasn't done too much of that. It was kind of line drive off the side of his foot. Now, watch Vernon Maxwell, number 98. He'll come by, and he'll say, "Nice punt, Maury. Thank you much." Okay, we'll see if the Lions can take advantage of it. They're in Bear territory right now.
Trailing 14-0. Eric Hipple brings them out. James Jones looked like he wanted to pitch it back, but runs the ball out for about 3 yards. They had receivers downfield, and that play might have been designed to pitch back to Hipple and have him throw the ball. Jones wound up with a 3 or 4 yard gain. Darrell Rogers all bundled up over there trying to keep warm on the Lions sidelines in chilly Soldier Field.
Boy, his head is down. I don't want to see how he sees the field of play.
It is 2nd down and a long 7.
Bears 46 defense.
Hipple eludes the rush, gets it off to Manley. Pete Manley has a first down to the 31-yard line of the Bears. Pete Manley, second-year man from northern Arizona.
Good play by Hipple. Now, notice what Hipple did this time. He goes back, he sees the pocket, and he comes forward in it to get away from the rush. And then he hits Manley, who does a little pretty good little dipsy-do on Mike Singletary, and gets the first down before Wilbur Marshall makes the tackle along with Duerson.
Hipple was 3 of 5 in the first half with 1 interception by Dave Duerson of the Bears. And that's his first completion here in the second half. James Jones, nowhere to go. Bears had plugged all the holes, and the safety Fensick came up right behind William Perry, who tripped up Jones.
Yes, it was William Perry who jammed that play up as Fensick was in on the tackle. Gary Fensick has 34 career interceptions for the Bears, second on the all-time list, and it was Perry. The refridge was in there and jammed everything up, and Gary Fensick said thank you.
No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10, and we see the Giants have come back against the Rams. 13-7 LA lead in the third period. Hipple under pressure, gets it off, intended for Manley, incomplete. Manley had a stride on the defender Duerson, But Hipple, with the pressure, couldn't get the ball on target.
Well, there's that play again, that fake of the counter kind of draw with Hipple on the partial rollout. It takes so long to develop.
By the way, Eric is not bleeding to death, we want to point out. That's from that big red C in the middle of the field that's wet.
Well, he was showing us he's got a new pad on, too, on his chest because he got hit in the chest last week. He also got hit in the head. You should see him underneath there. He's got the rib pads, the chest pad. He's got everything on.
Rams have kicked the field goal, looks like here. Well, it's 16-7. We'll get the exact scoring play for you on that, but they've opened their lead over the Giants. Hipple gets lots of time. Off to Manley again. He can run. Ran into his own man, Don Greco.
Nice tackle by Greco.
And he stopped short of the first down. He might have had the first down had he not lost his balance there with a collision.
This was a case where Hipple adjusted in the pocket once again and hit Manley. Now, Manley was trying to get that first down, but he didn't go north and south. He kept going east and west, and Greco, 67, comes into the picture here and puts a shot on Manley as the Lions apparently are going to go for it rather than take the 3 points. They have 3rd and 2.
4th down.
4th and 2. As the Bear fans have responded, remember this is an outdoor stadium and there's a lot of wind. I'm surprised all the noise isn't just blown right out of the stadium, but the Lions can't hear the signals right now, so they went back in the huddle. Big play for Detroit.
4th and 2 at the 23-yard line of the Chicago Bears, trailing 14-0. What do you think of the strategy here?
I don't know. With the wind, I think I'd maybe take the field goal. The Bears are tough to run against. If they're going to run, they can't run in between the tackles, I don't believe. I think they'll give Hipple some kind of option. Maybe a rollout or something.
You saw Jones run up to make sure he had the count with this noise. Incomplete. A collision between Leslie Frazier and Leonard Thompson. And it just was enough of a collision to throw Thompson's timing off. He looked back for the ball, just missed a great opportunity to catch it because Frazier had really taken himself out of the play. So the Bears take over with 9:12 to play, 3rd quarter, and a 14-0 lead.
Did you hear about McDonald's new McDeal?
In line with Johnny Morris at Frigid Soldier Field, and Darryl Rogers continues to put a lot of miles on those shoes, and I don't blame him. Unless he's got heaters inside him, he's got to keep his feet moving.
Well, he went for the touchdown. He had the wind with him, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I think he must have been feeling that the 4th quarter he's going to be against the wind. He should try and get the 7 points now. He's down by 2 touchdowns, but it backfired. Payton picks up about 4 on first down for the Bears from their own 23-yard line. And it was just a near miss on the pass. The collision between Leslie Frazier of the Bears and Leonard Thompson of the Lions. And a split second earlier, Thompson had made the turn. Frazier was off the ball and could have made the catch. Thompson could have made the catch. It is 2nd down. As usual, Payton turned what looked like a 3-yard gain into 5. It is 2nd and 5. 8:40 and counting in the 3rd period. Matsui and stacked up. Vernon Maxwell, the outside right linebacker, making his first start. Curtis Green, number 62. William Gay, number 79. They all did a good job. Curley, the linebacker, number 50, forcing the play initially. Gain of maybe a yard. It'll leave 3rd and 4 for the Bears.
There is Wayne Fonts, the defensive coordinator for Detroit. He's up from Tampa Bay. He's given the signals in to August Curley, who's taking him instead of Fantetti, who's not in right now.
4 wide receivers for the Bears. Out of the shotgun, Fuller steps up in the pocket. He'll run for it. Hooks it off for Willie Gault. And who got the ball? Looks like Detroit has recovered. Bobby Watkins came up with a loose football. Fuller saw Willie Golden full stride behind him. A perfect situation for the lateral, but the miscue cost the Bear the ball.
And Mike Ditka, I would imagine, is fuming on the sidelines on this one because Fuller could have probably had the first down. He couldn't find a receiver, takes off down the field, and he surely would have had the first down, but he tried to get a little bit more here and just put a little bit behind Galt, and the Lions recovered the football. Demetrius Johnson.
Now
Bobby Watkins, 27.
This is
Bobby
what the
Watkins.
Lions do. They come up with big plays, and that's why they've beaten the big teams. Dallas, Miami, San Francisco. Let's see what they do with it here. Quickly out to Mark Nichols. Reggie Phillips, the rookie, puts the tackle on him, but Nichols picks up about 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Well, the Lions really haven't gone after Reggie Phillips that much, probably because of the game conditions, but Phillips really getting his first start, and he's a rookie, and you got to figure he's a little bit nervous.
Well, he said he was excited about playing in this game, getting his first start. Number 2 pick from SMU. He was idle while he was playing in college with Lester Hayes of the Raiders. It's a James Jones, and Jones barrels off for about 3, maybe 4 yards. Marshall and Wilson on the tackle for the Bears, and he's close to the first down, might have it.
You may notice Jones in the backfield. He creeps up and creeps back closer to the line of scrimmage, and that's to pretend that he's going to be pass blocking, trying to pick up a blitz, and then move back deeper and trying to confuse the Chicago Bears on defense. It's very close to the first down. Appears to be a little bit short. There you can see for yourself. It'll be 3rd and inches to go for Detroit.
The ball at the Bears' 24-yard line. 6:55 to play in the 3rd quarter. The turnover. The Lions are +2 in takeaway giveaway this season through the first 9 games, and they've made big plays at big times. It certainly had a lot to do. If you look at the rest of their stats, defensively and offensively, you have to wonder, how did they win 5 football games, and how did they beat the likes of Dallas, Miami, and the 49ers? Well, they've been opportunistic, and they have been here as well. James Jones breaks loose for the first down, and without Gary Fensick to trip him up, he'd be in the end zone.
Nice play by the Lions as Jones kept his eyes open. It was supposed to be a little bit more inside, and he dips outside the Otis Wilson coming down, and Fensick has a big man to stop there. He goes low and tips him right on his head, but not before Jones got the first down. Nice play by the Lions. James Jones, 14 rushes, 55 yards.
First down, Lions. Deep in Bears territory. Lone setback is Jones. He's got the ball. Stopped at the line of scrimmage and driven back. Fensick leading the charge. Otis Wilson there with him.
You know, a man who's had some pretty good games against Chicago over the years has been Leonard Thompson. He comes up with big plays against the Bears several times that I can remember over the years. He has not really been a factor in this game so far. Let's see what they do with Leonard Thompson. He did have that one pass thrown to him there a moment ago.
Ball at the 16-yard line. 2nd down. Nearly 10 to go. They pick up about a half yard. Short drop, and Mark Nichols cannot hold on. Phillips on the coverage. The pass a little high. Nichols couldn't bring it in. 3rd down. Lions. Bob Baker, the offensive coordinator, on the left of your screen. Darryl Rogers, the head coach. Loosened things up considerably. You could see it in practice the other day. The attitude, the atmosphere around the Silverdome, as most of the Lions agreed that it was a little more fun this year under Darryl Rogers than it had been under Monty Clark. Whether that translates into the winning season remains to be seen. Lewis and Rubik
The Bears are showing blitz.
Two tight ends in, and the pass is off the hands of Leonard Thompson. Thrown a little behind him. He was coming into the center and had to reach back for the ball. And Hipple knows that he didn't deliver it on the money.
He's frustrated because the Lions came up with the two correct passes the way the Bears are playing their defense. Those wide receivers were basically man for man. The little quick post was the right kind of a pattern. You see the Bears blitzing. Now you can see Thompson has inside position on Frazier, and all they have to have is the ball there, and they would have had a completion.
34-yard field goal try by Eddie Murray. A high snap, but Murray gets it. A good job by the holder, Eric Hipple, to get the ball down for Eddie Murray. So the Lions are on the scoreboard with 5:01 to play in the third quarter. It is 14-3. Well, remember next week, 6th-ranked Iowa, 59-0 winner over Illinois yesterday, takes on Purdue, or some of you will see Maryland and Clemson live at 2:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Pacific Time on CBS Sports. Well, Eric Schubert has kicked a field goal for the Giants after Lansford had opened the lead with his field goal for the Rams. It's a 6-point margin again. Rams in front. Murray's kickoff taken by Dennis Gentry of the Bears. Bounces off one tackler and then is met head on at the 25-yard line. And that is June James, the reserve linebacker, number 96 with the tackle. Right there with him, Reese McCall, the backup tight end, number 81. Steve Fuller comes back on with the Bears after a conversation with Mike Ditka, no doubt, about laterals. And the fumble recovery on the fumble by Galt led to the field goal by Murray, the first Lions points of the day.
Especially lateraling on a game conditions like this with the little light rain and the coldness.
And a lot of wind. Fuller is 5 out of 8 passing, 67 yards. Draw play to Payton. Got away from William Gay, but then was met by 3 Lions just over the line of scrimmage. Doug English and Eric Williams leading the charge, and their linebacker Curley. So it'll be no gain.
I think the temperature's dropping about a degree a minute. It is really getting cold.
You're shaking
voice sounds
a little
shaky. It's not that I'm nervous. It's just that my teeth are chattering.
Well, it's always fun to be at Soldier Field when the wind blows off Lake Michigan. You can see how much these fans are enjoying it here. Hands in their pockets and bundled up, but enjoying the lead that their hometown Bears have, going for victory number 10 without a defeat. Screen pass, Payton. To the 49-yard line, and a first down, Chicago. .22 yards on the play for Walter Payton.
Okay, let's take a look at it. As you see, they just set up the screen. Well, Payton take the screen, and you'll see Mark Bortz, number 62, coming out here into the flat. And they need the one key block to make this play a success. And there it was. And I believe that was Eric Williams out there. I won't swear to that, but I think it was Williams that they got out of the play. And then Payton carrying it one-handed and all. And then he switches it at the last second over to the left side. He has such awareness of where the football is and upon impact.
69 yards on 4 catches. A flag down as Suey dives for close to a first down.
I think we're going to get a holding call there in the middle of that offensive line right there.
Curley and Demetrius Johnson finally stopped him, but it looks like it's going to be called back anyway. Referee Tom Dooley will have the call.
Illegal motion.
Oh, so motion.
57 offense, first down.
That's Tom Thayer, number 57, the rookie from Notre Dame, who's been in the USFL a couple of seasons and playing for the injured Kurt Becker.
We have some scores for you. Minnesota 14-6 over Green Bay in the fourth quarter. The Vikings were 5-4 going in. And Philadelphia now 17-0 over Atlanta.
Minnesota and Detroit battling for that second spot in the NFC Central. Payton is straightened up behind the line of scrimmage and with his strength picked up about 3 yards. The gain will turn into about a yard, but he was 3 yards deep when he got hit.
And give a lot of credit to number 79, William Gay. He makes a really almost like a superhuman effort here. Watch what William Gay has to do to get around and get the tackle on. Got Tim Reitman is 80, gets another person. He reaches back with his left arm. Covert was there, and Matt Suey. He gets his hands on Payton and was the key man in that tackle.
62 yards on the day for Walter Payton on 18 carries. 2nd and 14 for the Bears, rolling away as Fuller just got the ball off. Reitman has it, and a first down. The ball comes loose, but play whistle dead at the 32. And Fuller took his lumps after he released the ball, but he threw a perfect pass into the wind. Curley and Johnson on the tackle, but a Bears first down off the 23-yard gain.
William Gay and Angelo King just can't believe that Fuller got this play off. There's Gay. He gets almost a hand on him, and then comes the tackle, and he found Reitman down the field for the first down. And you see, if he hits the ground first, which he did, and the ball came out, then it is a dead situation. Okay, now Steve Fuller is going to pay the price on that. There is Gay trying to reach out like he did the play before. Oh boy, did he take it right in the ribs from Angelo King.
First down, Chicago at the 32-yard line of Detroit. Matt Suey, he's been having a field day in there.
Oh, we have to watch this. The influence block. Watch Doug English, number 78. He was the key on this with the action of Payton. Now 78 is right over the center. There goes 78. He's running over the other way. He turns around and says, there's Matt Suey, 26. And he has to watch the play the rest of the way as Suey is finally brought down.
88 yards for Matt Suey. McNorton and Williams finally get him. But the Bears on the doorstep again at the 15-yard line. Payton cuts it inside to the 5. William Perry on his feet saying it's getting down into my territory.
He says,
bridge time.
Let's open up the icebox and bring in Perry. As you see, Walter Payton, the Bears have a chance to have 2 runners gain over 100 yards as Payton gets a good block from Mark Bort, 62, turns up the field, and then it's finally Demetrius Johnson who brings him down. But Payton and Suey both heading for 100 yards. And, you know, the ironic thing is that Payton hasn't gained 100 yards against Detroit since 1980. He has 72 yards and 19 carries.
It'll be 1st and goal as Perry put the jacket back on. There's no call for the refrigerator yet. Ball just outside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Chicago. Leading 14-3. We're in the final minute of the 3rd period. Suey and Payton in a wide set. Fuller rolling. Touchdown. How good Steve Fuller must feel at this moment. Getting the start, doing the job, and after the fumble to Galt.
Yes, and here's a good play action. Boy, he hung on that ball. Jimmy Williams, 59, was completely fooled as everybody was looking at Walter Payton. And you're right, Steve Fuller's got to be a happy man. He's been in a couple times this year and has not done that well. He is doing pretty well now.
Butler for the point after. Into the wind and rain. Butler's point after is good. The score, the Bears 21, the Lions 3. And with Johnny Morris at Soldier Field, 21-3, we're going to send some of you now to the Rams-Giants game in New York with the Giants in front by a point. Here in Chicago, the Bears ready for the kickoff, and with this wind, Butler requiring a holder. Kickoff comes down at the 19. Alvin Hall over the 35 to the 37-yard line. And a little extra pushing and shoving down there in the center of the field. And look who's in the middle of it. Big, friendly old William Perry. It didn't look like it developed into anything too serious there. A little name calling, no doubt. And the crowd for Perry. Now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York and find out about that Giant Ram game.
Well, Tim, here's how it tightened up, and it was Joe Morris of the Giants who has become their #1 running back this year from a yard out, 17-16. We'll keep you posted on that one. Back to Tim and Johnny.
Giants fans happy to see them finally move in front of the Rams in a big game, more so for the Giants than for the Rams, but with still a half season to go, Los Angeles knows the 49ers are breathing behind them. Hippel's pass intended for Manley, incomplete. 2nd and 10. You mentioned that little chest protector pass that Hippel had. He got a knee in the chest, an inadvertent play last week against Minnesota, and they got kind of that little, like a umpire's chest protector underneath rib pads that he's been wearing for a few games, and those hanging from his shoulder pads. He also got clocked in the head with a helmet-to-helmet crash last week, and Joe Ferguson had to finish up. He's a game guy. 2nd and 10. Draw play to Jones. Jones shakes a tackle. Nice move. Close to the first down. The ball came loose, but it is a dead ball near the marker. Dewerson came up with it for the Bears, but the play had been whistled dead. And the 3rd quarter is whistled dead. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Chicago Bears 21, the Lions 3. We now pause for a word from your local station. Chicago. It is Windy City weather in Chicago. The Lions have the ball, 3rd and 1. Hit ball. Alvin Moore made a circus catch. A flag down on the play, and a great catch by Alvin Moore. I had to turn 360 to catch that ball thrown on the outside while he was looking inside. 12 yards on the play, but let's see, it's going to be against Chicago. Great job by Alvin Moore, number 24 from Arizona State.
And what a hit Eric Hipple took after he threw that ball. Gary Fensick on a safety blitz.
55 defense. Penalty is refused. First down.
Otis Wilson was offside.
Okay, here comes the hit. Hipple gets rid of it, and there's 45, Gary Fensick and Dan Hampton, who really punished Hipple, but he got the ball off.
Moore with the catch, and the Lions first down at the 42. Some changes in the Lions offensive line with injuries problems. This is Jones shaking loose. James Jones with another fine piece of running, close to another Lion first down inside the 35 of Chicago. Reggie Phillips and Gary Fensick on the tackle.
One of Jones's great abilities is to be able to look at the blocking and see when things are jammed up and shift the other way. He shifts very well for a big man. Reggie Phillips does the only thing he can do, and that's go low, because you take Jones on up high and you're going to get yourself killed. But the Lions are moving the football.
That was Otis Wilson, not Fensick, with Reggie Phillips. 2nd and 2. Pete Dorney has moved to the left guard. Greco, who has been bothered by a concussion for a couple of weeks, is out of there. And Rich Stringer is in at right tackle for the Lions. And this time the Bears stop the running play on 2nd and 2. Singletary and Dewerson. So the patched up Lions have Ray Snell at left guard, with the rookie Lomas Brown has gone all the way today at left tackle. Mott on the center, but over on the right side, Dorney has shifted to the left guard, to the right guard position, and Stringer's come in at right tackle. So those problems in the middle of that Detroit offensive line continue. Loss on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Manley in the slot right. Jones alone setback.
Blitz.
The ball comes loose. Recovered by Jones. Loose again. Picked up by the Bears. Singletary. There are no flags. It will be Chicago ball.
No chance for Eric Hipple. No time to set up as the blitz was on. The Bears came with everybody once again, and I believe it was Wilbur Marshall, 58, who put the first hit on him right there as Hippel's concentrating on what he has to do. Boxed the ball loose, and Jones almost recovered for the Lions. Couldn't quite get the ball, and then it was Mike Singletary, number 50, who picked it up and was on his way. Jones was a busy man. He stopped Singletary from going all the way.
Fourth sack leads to the turnover, and Payton tripped up, breaks into the 27-yard line. Demetrius Johnson made sure he got no further.
What a block. Both offensive linemen from the other side got over. And you take a look at the offensive lineman out in front of Walter Payton. Now, you're going to see number 78 is Keith Van Horn. He goes down the line, and here they come around. Mark Bortz is 62, and Jimbo Covert, 74, is leading the way for Payton as he cuts back. And Watkins has got to take on Covert. Covert buries him as Payton goes inside. Excellent blocking by that mobile Bear offensive line.
80-yard day for Payton. Suey trying to get the first down. Got to the 20-yard line and has it. Demetrius Johnson straightened him up after Eric Williams had made the initial tackle for Detroit. 95 yards for Suey. So the team that has been last against the rush has suffered again today at the hands of Suey and Payton of the Bears.
I don't know. I think maybe they continue mostly with that 3-4. I think I'd have brought linebackers up in, shift around, do something, because that three-man front there is not able to stop the run. They got to do something, and maybe give them a little bit on the pass, because it's not a passing type day.
First down at the 20-yard line, Chicago. Payton got only about a yard. William Gay wrapped him up. Eric Williams was there with him. Alvin Hall has come into the secondary for Johnson, and now Johnson comes back in. I think that was an equipment repair for Johnson, who had been involved in a heavy hit on the previous play. It is second down and 9. Chicago threatening to turn it into a rout. 11:06 remaining, fourth quarter. They are in Lions territory at the 19. Suey with 95 yards on 13 carries. Reverse. Marjoram. Nowhere. Well picked up by the Lions out the right side. And it was William Gay waiting for Marjoram to arrive.
Well, that's the first time I've seen Kenny Marjoram run an end around in a long time. But you know, one thing he's going to do, he's going to go back to the sidelines later and says, forget that play, because he came around and there were 4 Detroit Lions waiting for him, namely William Gay, number 79, who's played a pretty good game today. Gay has done very well. Angelo King helps turn it in, and there was Gay on the tackle. Forget that one, says Kenny Marjoram. I'm a receiver. Throw the ball down the field. Huh?
4 wide receivers in now. Third down and 15, Chicago in the shotgun. Galt in motion. Sideliner. Incomplete. Good job defensively. The pass intended for Marjoram, broken up by Bruce McNorton, number 29. Fourth down. So the Lions bend a little, but do the stopping. If they have any chance at all to pull this game out, they had to stop the Bears here. Butler will come on to try and add 3 points. He has the win. The ball will be spotted at the 33-yard line for a 43-yard try. Butler is 9 for his last 9. 2 more, and he'll tie the Bears club record in that department of 11 consecutive field goals, held by the departed Bob Connell. And Butler misses this one, so that takes care of that streak. And the Lions make a very... Time with Johnny Morris in Chicago on a day the Brits would describe as filthy and blustery. It is all of that. And so if you're in a nice warm place, you can stay right there, and tonight enjoy this entertainment on CBS. 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, Crazy Like a Fox, and Trapper John M.D. And those of you who will be enjoying our Dallas-Washington doubleheader game, that'll follow our telecast of the Bears and Lions, and then into the evening of entertainment. And that pass is intercepted by Wilson. Otis Wilson on Hippel's first down pass. The Bears get the ball right back. The 4th turnover of the day by the Lions.
There were some Lion receivers in the same area, as Hipple did have the time this time, but he just threw short and into a lot of traffic. You're going to see a whole bunch of jerseys over there, dark jerseys. The receivers were pretty close together as Otis Wilson comes up with the interception. A man who says he's going to make the Pro Bowl this year. He has not made it in the past. The Lions are in trouble again, and the turnovers are coming now against Detroit. Hipple hadn't thrown an interception in 3 games before this in 47 consecutive attempts.
Yes, that had been a problem for him in the past, and he's really sharpened it up. But their +2 in turnovers is now -2 on the season. 4 today. Well, elsewhere in the NFC Central, Green Bay has just scored. Gary Ellis to close up that margin, and Minnesota leading 17-13. They're tied with the Lions coming into the game. Tampa Bay still leads St. Louis 13-0, and they're into the 4th quarter. Buccaneers might be looking at their first.
They deserve a victory, don't you think?
Indeed. Yes, sir. Yeah, I certainly do. The Giants lead the Rams by a point at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, 17-16. Matt Suhey is 2 yards away from a 100-yard day with a 2nd and 7 here now for Chicago. And some early action along the line of scrimmage brings flags.
It looked like Eric Williams moved.
Encroachment, 76 defense, 2nd down.
And Eric Williams is in the middle now because Doug English has gone out of the game with a pinched nerve. And so he may not see action the rest of the game. So you can see William Gay, there's 76, is Eric Williams, and Curtis Green is in there now, 62. Fantetti's back in the game as the Lions trying to hold off the Chicago Bear rush.
Green playing at left end with Williams moving to the nose. Fantetti getting some more time as one of the interior linebackers in the 3-4, joining August Curley. So the offside against the Lions leaves a 2nd and 2 for the Bears at Detroit's 35-yard line. Matsui and Jimmy Williams is there, number 59. Along with Curtis Green, number 62. There'll be a loss of about 3 yards back to the 37-yard line. Jimmy Williams, the number 1 pick from Nebraska, may have been shaken up a little bit on the play. He's been their best defensive player all season long. What an outstanding athlete he is. A walk-on at Nebraska. Hard to believe. Well, if there's a story in the game statistically, there it is. The Bears have had the ball for twice as much time as the Detroit Lions, and it's pretty hard to get points on the board with that little amount of time. Payton first down. William Gay and Demetrius Johnson stopped him, but not before he got to the 26.
You want to see a collision? Watch the blitz up the middle by number 50, August Curley, with Matt Suhey right there as Payton found the big hole up the middle, and Matt Suhey blocked for Walter Payton. I don't know if Matt Suhey blocked so much or as Curley just kind of annihilated him on his way in, but at least he got him out of the play.
92 yards on the day for Walter Payton. 7:17 to play on a nasty day in the Windy City. Matsui to the 20-yard line.
That should just about put him over 100, shouldn't it? He lost a few yards on one play and now gained back a few, so he's very close to 100. 102 for Matsui.
There's the number on 16 carries. Fantetti and Curley made the stop on him. It leaves a 2nd and 5 for the Bears as they threaten again from the 20-yard line of Detroit. Looking for 10 wins without a defeat this season, without Jim McMahon at quarterback. Payton slips on the slippery carpet, and down he goes as he had to get around number 98, Vernon Maxwell, and Curley was able to prevent him from going any further. There'll be a loss of nearly 2 on the play.
A loss of 2. The Bears
Third down and 6. There's August Curley. You can see him looking at the Lions bench, taking in the signals from Wayne Fonts. The role that Ken Fantetti would like to have back if he becomes a regular again. That was his job in the past. Third down. Incomplete, intended for Willie Gault. So again, the Lions stop the Bears down in Detroit territory. But the clock is working against Detroit. 5:46 to play, and they trail 21-3. Twice, however, they have prevented the Bears from turning it into a complete rout. But they need to make something happen, and they'll be going against the wind when they get the ball back. Butler will try again. The ball being spotted at the 30-yard line, just inside the 30, so it'll be a 39-yard field goal effort by the rookie Kevin Butler. And this one he gets. So the Chicago Bears 24, the Detroit Lions 3. It would appear the Bears are en route to victory number 10, and next Sunday on the NFL Today, you're going to learn more about the man who has helped to make it all possible, the head coach Mike Ditka of the Chicago Bears, and it's been a very business-like performance by his team here today. And next week, he'll be in Dallas with his Bears against the Cowboys, a team for which he was an assistant coach under Tom Landry, and some of you will be seeing that game, along with that other lineup that you just saw on your screen. Alvin Hall downs it in the Lions end zone as we see Mike Ditka on the sidelines. And speaking of Dallas, most of you will be watching our doubleheader action this afternoon. At the conclusion of this telecast, we'll be going to Washington, where the Cowboys and the Redskins get it on. Dallas tied at 6-3 atop the NFC East with the Giants, who have moved ahead of the Rams in their game today. Washington, well, they got off to a bad start, and all of a sudden they're a factor again as they have moved to 5-4.
We remind you that the Chicago audience will not see that second game because this game here was lifted. The blackout was lifted, and by NFL rules, we cannot show you that game.
James Jones nowhere to go on the short flip. Pressure on the quarterback again, Eric Hipple, and then Jones dropped immediately by Mike Singletary. It'll be a loss of about a yard on the play, and it was the refrigerator, number 72, applying his bulk to Hipple. What a long afternoon on a nasty day in Chicago for Eric Hipple. 4 sacks. Twice he was hurried. Twice he was knocked down and had 2 picked off. Perry comes out of the lineup. Mike Hartenstein comes in defensively. Hampton also gets a breather. That's rare. Tyrone Keys in for him.
Dan Hampton earned a breather. He also earned a big contract.
2nd and 14.
Oh.
And it's Tyrone Keys meeting James Jones at the football. Well, Keys was ready to play. Didn't get into the game until 5 minutes remaining, but he jumped all over James Jones. Came over from the Jets in July of 1983. Has been a very useful substitute on that awesome Bears defense. Ken Taylor has come in to give Leslie Frazier the rest of the day off on the right corner.
Cliff Thrifted is in at one of the linebacker spots, so the Bears playing a lot of reserves now.
3rd down and 17 for the Lions, going backwards. Hipple upfield for Leonard Thompson, incomplete. Ewerson and Taylor on the coverage, and Tyrone Keys with the rush on Hipple.
Boy, it was more than a rush, too. Hipple got the ball off, and boy, he was in his face once again. He's had a rough day. Eric Hipple has really been banged around.
So the Lions will have to punt as Mike Tomczak, the Bears' 3rd-string quarterback, the rookie from Ohio State, warms up and apparently will be getting some mop-up action here. Mike Black standing on the goal line. And rookie Keith Ortego, a wide receiver just activated by the Bears this week, is waiting for the punt at midfield. Oh, what a good kick by Black into the wind. Fielded by Ortego. Well, he made a not bad debut as a punt returner for the Bears, getting to the 45-yard line, an 11-yard return. Angelo King on the tackle for the Lions. 3:54 to play as the Bears will have the ball in Lions territory. Well, it looks like the Chicago Bears have Bo Derricked it. They will be a perfect 10 today. They lead 24-3. They have some offensive substitutes in. The best start since 1942 when they were 11-0. the best start by an NFC team since the 1975 Minnesota Vikings, who went 10-0 that season. And there's the man responsible for the turnaround with an outstanding coaching staff, and certainly defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan, a big chunk of that. Fuller left the game 7 of 13 and 112 yards. Mike Tomczak, the Ohio State free agent, getting some work now from the Lions 45. Walter Payton goes to the 40-yard line for a gain of 5. William Gay made the tackle. The Bears have Stephon Humphreys and Andy Frederick in their offensive line now. Payton needs 5 more yards for a 100-yard afternoon.
We'll have to go back and check the record book and see the last time when 2 Chicago Bear runners gained over 100 yards in a game. There's a bit of trivia we'll find out for you.
Look at this. The Giants have opened up over the Rams in the 4th quarter at the Meadowlands, 24-16. Putting a little more onus on the Dallas Cowboys. And Tampa Bay has added 3 more and shutting out St. Louis. Looks like they've got victory number 1. Payton picks up 4 more. It'll leave a 3rd and 1. Bears have Keith Ortego in the lineup, the young man who just returned that punt.
Dennis Gentry came on the field to replace Payton, and Payton says, I'm not going out. Dennis Gentry go back off the field. He doesn't want to go out. I don't know if he's aware that he has 99 yards. He has 4 straight 100-yard games, but Payton is coming out of the game, and Dennis Gentry has come in along with Thomas to replace Matt Suhey, but they're 1 yard short of the 100.
You suppose he counts those yards during the course of a game?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think he's right down to the very yard.
3rd and 1. Calvin Thomas has the Bear first down, number 33. Met by Williams and Curtis Green, number 62 for the Lions.
Payton's coming back in. He must have gone over to the teletype and checked the wires. He is a great one, isn't he?
2:07 to play, and Payton will probably get his 100. So we have the 2-minute. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris at Soldier Field, reminding you that most of you, those of you outside of the Chicago area, will be seeing our doubleheader game today. The Dallas Cowboys at 6-3 against the Washington Redskins at 5-4. The big battle in the NFC East continues. The Giants leading their game against the Rams in the 4th period. They would move to 7-3 with a win, and Dallas would be on the spot. Washington on a surge, trying to get themselves back into the thick of things for the top position in the NFC East. Coming up on CBS Sports. It is first down Chicago at the 34 of the Lions. Payton bounces off tacklers and gets his 100-yard day.
So that's 5 in a row for Walter Payton. And in checking back, the last time the Bears had 2 runners who gained 100 yards in a game was 1978. It was Roland Harper and Walter Payton. As the great one does it again. It was all jammed up, kept his legs going, his head up, looking for places to go, and then collides with William Graham. Walter Payton, he has 107 he has right now.
And now he comes off the field with his 100. Tom Andrews, we note on that last play, is in at center for Jay Hilgenberg. So Mike Ditka getting all of the second-line players into action. Calvin Thomas bounces off one man, but Jimmy Williams, outstanding player of the Lions, straightens him up and holds him what appears to be short of the first down at the 25-yard line of the Lions. So Jim McMahon has just been a spectator enjoying the action today and getting his bruised body together. He's now joined by a smiling Jerry Venisi, the general manager of the Bears. And McMahon will no doubt be the quarterback next week when the Bears move into Dallas looking for win number 11.
We learned that Green Bay has gone back ahead of Minnesota in that game. The Lions are going to be 5-5 after this is over, but they're going to be right in the thick of it for second place in a possible wild card spot. This is going to hurt them a lot, but
Dennis Gentry out of bounds at the 3-yard line, and a flag down on the play. Well, Dennis Gentry, who backs up Walter Payton, doesn't get an opportunity to show his stuff, but he's got speed and moves. 5'8", 180-pounder from Baylor in his 4th year.
But it has been called back. So he got to show how he can run, but he doesn't get to count on the statistics.
The Packers lead Minnesota by 10.
75 offense, 3rd down.
That is Stephon Humphreys, Bears #3 pick last year from Michigan, called for holding. Green Bay leads Minnesota 27-17. If the Packers win their game, they'll move to 4-6. Minnesota will fall to 5-5. The Lions will fall to 5-5.
Apparently Lynn Dickey threw a touchdown pass towards the end of the game, and then Mark Murphy came up with a 50-yard interception. So the Vikings ran into a bunch of trouble right there towards the end of the game. It's not over yet, but things look good for Green Bay.
23 seconds remain here at Soldier Field as Mike Tomczak will have a 3rd and 10 following the Bear penalty. Calvin Thomas and Dennis Gentry are the running backs. Curtis Green trying to haul. Look at Gentry pull Curtis Green, the 260-pound defensive end. He dragged him for what appears to be a 1st down.
Curtis Green got a ride on the scooter that time.
Well, that's going to wind it up here at Soldier Field as Darryl Rogers comes over to congratulate Mike Ditka. The first time they have coached against each other. And Mike Ditka's mighty Monsters of the Midway have moved to 10-0. And obviously are the dominant team in the NFL at this stage of the season. Next week, the Cowboys in Dallas. And those same Cowboys are coming up here. Most of you watching this game will be seeing Dallas at Washington in a key NFC East matchup. And so the final score, the Bears 24, the Detroit Lions 3. 34 as the Bears rack up their 10th victory without a defeat. They are playing with poise, confidence, awesome defense, and today an offense led by Steve Fuller with Jim McMahon sitting it out a bruised shoulder and basically a bruised body. And for the Bears today, Steve Fuller at quarterback scored the opening touchdown on a 1-yard quarterback sneak back in the 1st period. And then the Bears added one by Calvin Thomas in the 2nd period to make it 14-0. A turnover in the 3rd period set up a field goal by Eddie Murray for the Lions to make it 14-3. Fuller scored again on a rollout to make it 21-3. And then Kevin Butler's field goal, a 24-3 ball game. We thank the gentleman in charge, our producer on the site, David Michaels, our director, Peter Bleckner from New York City, and Alan Brum and the rest of our outstanding staff. So that's it from Soldier Field. Tim Ryan for Johnny Morris, returning you now to our studios in New York and Brent Musburger.